Okay, so let's start our class today. First, I would like to let you know I give you one more called the in-class exercise, which related to the store access. I already gave you the source code. So if you look at the store access, so I already gave you all the one with the new property. Okay, so the one you need to work on is I try to add maybe you need to modify it or add some certain package to let your Happy.js server to prevent this type of attack. Okay, so if you still remember what store SSS, like once we post it, it will save in your server side. So once other client try to access to your server, we will return those attack script. So it will affect all other other user who access to your website or connect to your API server. So how can we prevent this attack? Then you need to work on it. I try to show you some example, and then we can use the package. It's called the centralized HTML. Then you will able to do it, or you can write your encrypt called escape to modify the content and save it in your server. So mainly you can see the syntax is we have got a user and then with array. Every time when we post or send the data to the API server, we'll save it. So that's why we will store the script, and then when we return it, it will cause the issue to other users. Okay. So that's your just like very short exercise. Install the using npm install or using the escape HTML you implemented before, and then you can save it, push it. Then you should able to prevent this type of store access attack. Okay, so it's a pretty short exercise. You can do. I give you 1 week time to submit it. And the second thing is about the new assignment. So after this class, so you have a time. So this assignment, you're able to see is right here. So, if you remember for our assignment, we go through what's the testing. So we're using the Mocha. So that's what you need to do. You need to start a new project. So connect to your MongoDB using Mongoose. And then you need to install the Mocha. Also the child you're required to use. And in my example, I using the Supertext. You are welcome to using those other package you think are necessary, but for the basic, you need to use the Mocha and HappyCode. The child, because they are not really integrate with the ES6, so you can better to use the HappyCode. So they do have the same function if you still remember expect. So you have to test all those RESTful APIs, at least one of this endpoint. You're welcome to create more than that. Let's say you have the get items, and then with the IDs, post, put, delete methods. You need to validate and test all these server route, create a test folder, and then implement all the testing function. Okay, and then you will also need to connect to a MongoDB, and those MongoDB need to connect to a database. I'm not limited you to saying which kind of content you need to implement, but you're welcome to create any items. Okay, so
does it have to be MongoDB?
If you using because right now in your project you're mainly using MongoDB, right? So if you because for the database, maybe you're using MySQL.
Yeah, would that be fine?
Okay, yeah, sure. That'd be fine. Yeah. If you are
Okay.
learning programming, so it really for cloud computing, I'm not really limited. You say okay, you only allowed to use it for using MongoDB. But if you say you know better on MySQL or you're working on it, then you can use MySQL. It's okay. So you can change it, and then you can just because the structure is the same. So you need to create the SQL queries, and then the Happy.js connect to your SQLs, and then also you can use the testing script to test your SQL query if they return the correct result, okay, or your expected result. So you can, if you want to switch to MySQL, yes, you're okay to do that, okay. And then
Cool.
create the directory, and then as an example. So last time in our lecture, I give you some examples right here. So you need to install the package, testing folder, and then have a server, and then your database testing. So all this, and mainly is you need to show me the result, like for this, like what's the response status, and then if you when you have a data match, so I will recommend one is like invalid, and then have a valid input. So at least you should test like both of them. So what's the return result for like valid or like called a successful return 200 or unsuccessful, okay. And just put them in all the documents, including all your screenshot and showing all this information, okay. And also submit your source code. At least will be your server, like original server and database, maybe your MySQL source file, and then your test file. So I can look at your test file. So how did you implement? Okay. Do you have any question about the assignment? Any question?
No.
No, okay. So I give you the time. So just let me know if you need more time to work on it, or if you have any difficulty, just send me an email so I can explain. Suppose almost it will be the last 1 or 2 assignments. So I would depends on the time. So if I need to extend the assignment, then it will be last one. If like the submission on time, then maybe we have a short assignment later. So then we can start our class right now. So today we will talk about the DevOps. So this one is got combining. Actually, it's a word. Also, is one for the like called the project for the system design. So it's the idea. So what's that of principle and participants practice, and then we need to understand the like fundamental concept and the philosophy like behind the DevOps. Okay, then how can we implement the CI/CD pipeline in cloud and environment? So we can get some like practical skills, including the CSCI pipeline using popular tools, and then we'll discuss some security impacts of the like DevOps in cloud and native applications. This one, if you try to apply a job, if you want to be a software programmer or like other developer position, sometimes they do mention the CI/CD, and you can have some ideas of it. So DevOps is the practice combined like software development. So this one could then, and then also the IT operation, the ops. Like they aim to shorten the development life cycle and deliver high quality software. And here's one style, as well as say we will use for system design. Maybe for traditional way, we have like waterfall and agile management. And this one is like we can try to like keep on implement and deliver some new features, functions, and go back and review and try to implement to release the new function. So maybe start from scratch, you're not doing it this way, but after your software, they're launching online for a certain period. And then if you really want to add some future features or like modify the function, then how can you maintain the current system is operate like normally, but it can transit to the new one smoothly, like you won't lose certain function, causing some error. Then it's really important doing it this way. So for the cultural collaborations, we need to encourage the teamwork, like encourage the development and operation. So Brigitte dinosaurs. And they also emphasize the automations. So they want to automate the repetitive like tasks to increase the efficiency and reduce errors, and continuous learning and experimental experimentations. So we try to like foster an environment where the teams can experiment and learn from the failure. So here's some idea of it. And we need to develop the DevOps, the practice. The first is about the CI, continuous integration. So this one, we say the frequent merging the code, change it into like central repos, and then we follow the automated like builds and testing. So here it's important when you're learning like cloud computing, like not only actually for other language too, like you need to implement some scripts to test your source code, or like do some like automatic testing is important. And then you have to scan all your source code and then to point out what the errors. Okay. So most are pretty common, and example, this way for your project, later we need to go through one topic about the using Git. So if you didn't, have you used Git before? Or do you know what's Git?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so for your project, if you need to implement a project, also one of the requests is create using your Git account, create the repo, and then upload your source code. Okay, and it will be also good for your portfolio. Actually, for the software developer, GitHub also is one of your resume to your CV. So it's showing they maybe know like how frequently you upload your program, or sometimes did you work on some projects, so it can be a strong support for you to like apply for a job. Also, you will know the function that you have a fork function. You can look at other developer who upload the source code, then you can do a fork and copy to your local and then testing and modify. Okay, so this is something off topic, but just like let you know, we can use the Git to integrate the code, change like daily, and then run it automated like test to catch the issue early. Okay. And then we have the CD, and CD is like called the continuous deployment. Okay, so automated deployment of code to production after successful builds and tests. So after we pass all the tests, then the code is automatically deployed to your like AWS Elastic Beanstalk, or like any project you're running on your server is okay. So here's will be more easy. That means after you implement the source code, we need to build it, like create the one for production and doing testing. So make sure before you release it, all the functions they are working fine, or they match the documentation, like the description. Okay. So after you finish all these things, and then after you push it, and then the cloud actually they can clone it or pull it down, and then they can update automatically, and or you can do it manually. It's okay. Sometimes for maintenance is good, but it will be easier for transiting from building the implementation period to production. Okay, so it's called a CD. So here you will hear a lot about CI/CD or looking for a job. So you need to have a concept. Okay, so that's what CI/CD doing. And also we have one more you may be here that is called the IC. So it's called the infrastructure as code. Okay, this one is like you may barely heard about that, or didn't barely to see it putting in a requirement. So it will let you like need to do is managing and then provisioning the infrastructure using the code and automation too. So the Terraforms to set up the cloud resources, also just like the VM, the virtual machine and networks. But most of us, if you are working for some company, you need to work on the infrastructure. If you know, we study for the ISAT, will be infrastructure, or SACs will be the like software layer. Then, but most of the time we work on the SACs because we are the software developer, and then we are using those platforms. But if you do have a chance to work on this, then you can see more and petition. And the next one is monitoring and logging. So for the monitor and logging, we need to implement the tool to monitor the application performance and log the error in real time. So we can have different types of to monitor, and most of the time good behavior. And good behavior is try to like using try and catch the caching. No, okay. Mm. One important behavior is about the monitoring. Monitoring including how can we make sure that our service is always like online available, and then they are always a we call the maybe we need to check the heartbeat of it, and then logging. Therefore, all the access or the error, then we can log it down, and then it's better for us to debug. Sometimes the error, it didn't cause the application down or like kill the service, but it will have caused some error. Then we can log it, and then maybe because certain function package, you have some depreciation. So when we implement, use the source code, maybe sometimes I share to you, maybe it's an old version, and then maybe when we install the new package, they will tell you, okay, it's depreciating, we are no longer use that one, then we need to modify. Maybe when I use maybe certain version, they have a huge transition, like then all those like old source code, you cannot use it. Then you need to re-implement everything. Okay, so if you doing in like CI/CD period, then you need to make sure like that if we need to upgrade to a new package, then we need to also modify all the source code, change all the functions. Because of course, like during the time, maybe last year, everything works well. Maybe this year, when you need to implement some new function, then we need to update all those previous work. Okay. We will look into like details of the CI/CD pipeline. So we will already talk about is the process, like they integrate the code change, running tests, like preparing for the build. So it's the CI, and then deployment just like push the code change to production after we pass the CI test. Okay. So in the pipeline, we have several key components included. So first one is the source code repository. So this one we sometimes we call it repo. So where the code base is like stored. Most time GitHub, GitLab, or Git buckets. I think we can use it. And then we have some like built automations like to compile the code and run tests. Jenkins is one of the example. If you're interested, you can try to install this one and try to test it. And also the automated testing, we can like running units, integration, and end-to-end testing automatically. So when we try to run the test script, so it's one of the reasons we need to do of the implement, and then we can maybe just call the function like run it to check your functions. And then the deployment automation. So we can have like some tools to deploy the application. Kubernetes, we talked about it before. So it integrating all the different nodes. Okay. So you can try to, so here will be the all the important components in the CI/CD pipeline. That means like they're all included. So if we need to implement the CI/CD as well as let's say we have the using the Jenkins. So it's an open source like automation server for building and testing and deploying the application. Also, we have the like GitLab the CI. Then we can integrate the CI/CD for the GitLab repositories, and then it would be much more easier if you want to set up and use it, okay, directly. And also we do have the provide the functions from the those cloud providers. Let's say the AWS, they have the called the cloud pipeline for the CI/CD. So it can have a Azure too. They also have a CI/CD to integrate your whole project when productions. So when you need to start to do the implementation, Then the first step, we always need to set the version control. So we can use the Git. So as a basic fundamental and for your project, then we will use the Git. In case there's some student they never use it, then I will spend some time to showing like create account and then let you have some project to push on it. So for later, for your project, and you need to do is using Git, that's what I mentioned it. And then we need to configure the CI tool is called the setup Jenkins or like the Git app to monitor the repos. And then we need to create a called a build script. So we need to have the script to automate the build process. Nowadays, let's say we need to some application when we build it, then we need to execute by ourselves. And this time is that we need to have a script, just like once we finish the testing, we automatically build it and then create the final production version. Okay. And when we try to implement it, second is like the first step we need to is like do the automated testing. So we will integrate the testing framework like JUnit, the Seleniums, or the basic we using for Happy itself. Also, we can say is the testing tool, but we need to have a script. But when are we testing? We are testing by ourselves. And then we also try to implement the deployment script. So use the tool like Terraforms or like the provisioning or like Ansible for configuration management. So here will be the how we need to do. In the company, like tech company, we barely doing by ourselves. So most of the time after we pass all the testing, then we'll push everything into those like we say for the version control build script, then we'll deploy it directly using those script. Okay. If you're interested, you can look at it. So how can we create a simple, like let's say the web application and set the CI/CD pipeline for it? It's a pretty time consuming, but if we do have a time, that I would like to show you for the production. But for the cloud computing, just let you have an overview knowing how to using like Node.js to build the application and then push it to the Git. But mainly it will be this step. Okay. I can have for our lab time, we do have time to cover the like Git and then push it. But for the complete building, maybe we don't have enough time to cover all this. But I will try to see if I have the time. And mainly for this one, the activity, we will try to like configure Jenkins and then build and test the application for the each push, and then we will deploy the application to the cloud environment. Let's say we are using AWS. So if you're doing for the our doing the implementation period, like that time, most of the time we actually are working locally. So maybe we will put we'll clone the source code or like pull it from our Git. So when we are doing testing, maybe we have the cloud testing server or you are testing locally for the functions of the computer and you'll push it to the Git. So all this is a normal behavior in the industry, like in the company. So hopefully you will have some idea. Basically, you know what's the CSCD pipeline. You need to know, and at least we will cover part of it is how to use Git. Okay, but this one we'll do it later. And then mainly after we know the whole CI/CD pipeline, we know this system design, the DevOps. Okay, then what are the possible security issue we need to consider if we apply this one? So the security what impact to the security. The first one is about the shift left approach. So when we are integrating the securities into each phase of the development lifecycle, so we need to identify it and then mitigate the vulnerability earlier. Vulnerability is this keyword and then the terms we use pretty often. So they are telling like the possible or the potential risk. So sometimes we say the threat. So they can let the attacker like perform some tricks to attack your server. So always have a good practice. And what are the key security practices? First one is about the code scanning and vulnerability assessment. So that's why I give you some examples and then like different type of attacks. And as I try to include it maybe as a quite in class exercise, you not only look at it, but also let you do like first you know where are the possible vulnerability. It's really hard to discover, okay, but we need to like create have build up the awareness and try to have a sense. Okay, when we doing this way, then it's a potential risk. Then we can do the early. One part of it is using some software tool to scan our code to tell which part of your statements maybe create a potential vulnerability. And then also we have the idea, we also have got the secret management. So how can we manage a sensitive information securely using tools like hashing? Okay. When you implement your hash code, one thing you need to know is about different type of encryption, decryption. This will telling most pretty common. If you access to the EC2, so you will see we download the certificate, right? The key, right? So about the public key, private key, and then for the password. When you try to build a project, probably I may be expecting you maybe try to create a path for login, sign up. Then all this will include the like password. Then how would you handle the password? Are you sending the password directly, or would you include the password, and then which type of encryption method you're going to apply? Because for this one is like for the code scanning, maybe some of them they do, but some if it didn't tell you, okay, it's a potential risk, like you didn't encrypt your password, then you need to do it. Like it's more like it's logically how can you protect those sensitive information? Okay, to encrypt it. Okay, and also make sure your connection is safe. So if I build an API server, one part of it is, are you trying to include the SSL, or would you include the public key, private key to connect it? So we need to consider. And then also some practice we copy several times. Typically this called access control and identity management. So we have the role-based access control. You see a lot, and then the identity provider, those like authorized LDAP. So all this will be used a lot for our implementation. Here we will talk about using the DevOps and then telling. So external tech. So it's a startup, is a cloud-based startup, especially in the e-commerce solution. So before the challenge before they implement, so they have really slow release cycle and then high deployment failure rate and then communication gaps between the teams. So that's what they facing at the time. So after that, they try to adopt the DevOps culture. They using the CI/CDs and pipeline. They using Jenkins and then move to AWS for the cloud hosting. So they doing so. Right here, you will see maybe just some like keywords idea, but for cultural things, is like how can you perform this DevOps? That means like every time we need to review and then everything like push to Git and then try to implement build some like automated script for testing, deployment, and everything hosted on the cloud. That's how we can do. So it turns out they can reduce their deployment time from like weeks to hours, and also they can increase the deployment success rate to 98%. So right here, one thing is including for the team collaboration and regular communication. Maybe in the school or right here, you were working on some project by yourself, and you will like just maybe upload the source code directly using the FTP, gonna say upload those source code and then run it, execute it. But if you are working as a team, then how can because some function they are splitted, and then you maybe take care of certain function, you need to test your function, make sure what type of parameter you're taking, and then you maybe have some like output return value. Maybe your return value return the result will be used by other function which are implemented by your teammates, other teams, right? So if you didn't test it, and then you will cause the problem. So communication and he will be the issue of the team collaboration. And then they also like fund that investing like the automation, like significantly improve all the efficiency. If you right now doing or like working on the project or like assignment, so you will see like every time I need to, if you didn't use in the PM tool, assuming this way. So every time when you work on some project, then you need to using sudo nano to create the file, or you need to open the application using that FTP, and then you need to upload your file or the source code. Then you need to change the permission. After you set up all correct permission access, maybe the engine setting, maybe for the like some project or routing. Okay, so after you finish setting up this one, then you need to start your project and run the source code. So this one is mainly have a or it will be time consuming, okay, and takes times. And also when you set up, maybe you have some change modification, then it will cause the failure for deployment. Okay, if you everything's like follow script and then pull up the standard source code, maybe some like if you require some package, sometimes you define the source version you are using. That's why good habit is using like cost safe. If you look at the called the package JSON, the reason why we will have a like called a dependency, and then the dev different dependency, and then it comes with the version, like what kind of package we are using, and then which version. So all this we tell, okay, so for this program we test it works for this version, but if for some new version or like older version maybe not working. So all this like will increase the successful rate. Okay. So far for the lecture part, we'll be covering the DevOps principle. Like we can say they are like crucial for the modern software development nowadays. And most of company, tech company, or like they start from the start, then we apply the CSCI deployment. And they try to enhance the deployment frequency. If you look at the update, maybe the mobile application, you have to always release the update, right? Okay, so for sometimes you will realize why some software can be I don't have to do the update, but I can update the content easily. I can give you a question, like thinking, okay, if you don't want to, let's say if you already
Sorry, I don't understand.
sorry, and let's say if you have the mobile app already launched, okay, and but you don't want to like modify the source code, or some of the code you don't have to do that, then you don't want to like change your version, upload to Apple Store or Play Store and let them review the code and then let it publish. But if you want to release the update by any time, then you need to think about how can you let the application to pull the source code from the server side or update the content. So this one, it can help us to increase, or we say enhance the frequency, but without like go through some redundant steps or like time consuming steps. So this one is like pretty common. That's one of the project I did. So for the source code, so we will try to, or if you know, for some games, if you pay attention, okay, so they will, if you after a certain period of time, you will see the update. So when you open the maybe some mobile games, so when you open the games and then it will be loading, So it's like, okay, you are downloading how many package, or they do update like maybe 100 megabytes, 20 megabytes. So they will overwrite the original files. Then you can think about, okay, how about those? Then you are not necessary to update your. That means like for the major source code update, then we need to upload the new version of your app to the those like App Store, Play Store. But for some like content modification or update the information, then we can using in this way. So we can like deploy the new version like frequently without like those redundant or time consuming process. Then how can we do that? So you can think about this question, and if you love to, then we can discuss about this one. Okay, and then the security must be like priority throughout the like DevOps life cycle. So this is important. That's why also we need to learn the cloud computing. Because once everything goes to cloud, and then it will kind of like open to public, because the hacker, they can able to scan your IP address, and then they can perform certain attack. So how can we increase the security to apply different policy to protect your server is really important. And all those sensitive data or important information, they're all stored on the cloud. Okay, so once they're able to hack into your system, like as we share in the some case study, then you know how many like information or some maybe not really actually in cache, but the information will cause the cache loss. Okay, and then we will try to maybe possible we can explore more like materials and then tutorials about the CSCI too, if we do have enough time, and try to have some participation workshop or like with activity to create. Okay, there are lots of communities like showing what's the DevOps. Okay, so right here will be the end of the lecture. So I will give you the time to work on the in-class exercise. So because but I didn't see any new students join the class. So just let me know if you want to stay, then you can stay here. I can help you if you have any question about the store XSS. And if no, then if you think you are able to finish it and upload it, then you can feel free to leave.
Okay, yeah, I have no questions.
Mm-hmm. You'll need to share the screen.
Oh, no, I said I don't have any questions, so I think
Okay,
we're
okay,
good.
good, perfect. Then yeah, then you can work on the class exercise by yourself. Okay.
All right,
And okay, enjoy the Halloween.
you too.
Have a nice
Have a good one,
one.
Professor.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.